Welcome to the Academic Writing Amplified podcast. On this podcast, we believe that the culture of academia needs to change radically. Women and non-binary people are revolutionizing academia within institutions that were not built for us. If you're ready to reject the culture of overwork, kick guilt and overwhelm to the curb, and amplify your voice to make a real impact on your field without breaking down or burning out, you're in the right place. With our team of experienced writing coaches as co-hosts, we'll share insights and talk to inspiring guests to bring you the practical strategies, systems, and mindset shifts you need to find time to write, publish work you love, and design your career on your terms. And it all starts with writing. Let's go. Hey there, podcast listeners. Today I have for you an amazing conversation between the three super awesome members of my coaching team, Gina, Rocío, and Thea. And these three academic coaches got together because I asked them to have a conversation about what they see as the biggest hurdles and challenges that our mid-career program participants faced. We've done, 3 or 4 cohorts now of our Elevate program, and really have gotten to learn in a deep way through so much one-on-one and group coaching and workshops. We've really gotten to learn deeply the struggles that our mid-career clients go through. So I asked my coaching team to get together and have a conversation where they really dig into what those struggles are so that you can hear if you resonate with any of these. Now, if you're mid-career, then I would love for you to attend our upcoming info session. Our info session is for people who are interested in learning more about our Elevate program. In the info session, we're going to talk about what the heck we mean by up-leveling your post-tenure career. We're going to show you examples of clients and what they've done inside of our Elevate program. And then we're going to get into all the nitty-gritty of exactly what our Elevate program is made of. Like, what are the parts of the program? When does it start? What do you need to do? How much time does it take? We'll get into all of those program details. So if you are interested, if you're post-tenure, or sometimes you might call yourself mid-career or even late career, and you're thinking, gosh, I resonate with what these coaches are talking about on this podcast, then maybe Elevate's for you. And the best way to find out is to come to our info session. You'll find the registration link in the show notes with the date and the time and everything ready for you. So go ahead and register so you can come to that info session and learn all about Elevate. Enjoy this conversation with Gina, Rocío, and Thea about hurdles our clients are facing in their mid-career.
Thank you, Kathy. It's so awesome to be here. We are very excited. Hello, everyone. This is Rocío.
And I'm Gina.
I am the newest coach on the team, and this is Thea.
And we're going to talk today a little bit about Elevate, our mid-career / post-tenure program. And actually, maybe one of the first things we want to talk about is who some of our Elevate clients are, because we've got a lot of different types of people in the Elevate program, just in terms of really where they are in their careers, because mid-career is kind of a big range, right? So obviously we have a lot of women who have tenure already and are sort of thinking about what the next steps are. We have people who are already doing some sort of administrative or leadership roles. We have some people who weren't even in academia or weren't even in academic positions. But I think that a lot of these women have a lot of things in common, right? So what are some of the common challenges that we've seen in Elevate in some of the last few cohorts? Rocío, what have you seen?
Oh, Gina, I like that question because, and I like how you phrased it, because you said, what do you see? And sometimes that's the key. We go into the program, our clients come into the program seeing something and thinking of some specific needs. And as they go through the program, they start realizing and seeing other things that they hadn't really thought about in the past. And so when I think of these challenges that we usually see our clients coming in with, by the end of the program, they've transitioned and they have been reframed. Some of the most common ones are going to be, how do they make time to do everything they want to do? Some of the also most common ones are going to be about themselves and almost like breaking these ties with their previous selves and how they used to do things and how much they were able to work to do all the things they wanted. And now they're at a point in their career where they really either want to focus on something or they're really craving to know with more certainty, this is really where I want to go and be able to do it. Because most of the time there isn't time to do all the things because of all the responsibilities they already have, again, at this point of their careers. So I guess it's a combination of personal challenges that really differ from their mindset and things that how they used to do and where they want to go. And then sometimes they're also structural, and I can see that a lot more with our marginalized clients, and these demographics. It's something that we can see over and over. And, there are other specific things that, maybe Thea, you want to tell us about?
Yeah, Rocío, I was thinking about one of the mid-career challenges being that, okay, now you have tenure and we're so socialized to just not really want more, whatever more is, whatever we decide to either create or claim as more. I think that can be a real challenge, as well as really celebrating successes, claiming those victories rather than having always the view on the next thing and always being, in the hustle and striving and going, really taking the time to celebrate success, to claim it and to own it, not as being, a bragging thing, but because we earned it, whatever our successes may be. And one of the things that I think the program really helps with is creating a container where people can claim these things with their peers, right? Can have conversations in our group coaching sessions, especially where we can encourage everyone to go for what it is they want, to own it, and also to celebrate it, because I think that's really important. And this also shows up in the desire to have all that invisible labor recognized, the desire to create new milestones for themselves, to go for big wins as well. There's so much socialization that tells us that we're not supposed to want more, that we're not supposed to outshine or outpace anyone else. So there's this constant internal push-pull for a lot of folks still trying to conform to that, and having a group as well as having individual coaches to kind of help map out the way forward and think about how these things also align with a person's sense of purpose, of passion, with their academic mission statement, and really being able to continue that movement rather than feeling like I plateaued, this is it, what's next? Is there anything after tenure? And the answer is yes, there is. And I think that the participants really show how much more they can aspire to.
I love that idea that they should look inside of themselves for a lot of these things, because, as faculty members, as PhDs, we spend a lot of time looking for that external validation. And I think that this is, right now for anyone is the best time to stop looking for external validation. But the Elevate program is a great time to really work on that, because once we can pull from inside of ourselves, then we don't need to look for people to give us permission to do things or to tell us that we've done a good job or that the thing that we've done is actually important. And in terms of thinking about like where their next steps are, that's the other thing that I think we've been socialized to wait for opportunities to come to us or decide among the existing opportunities that have been established externally. So here are the 5 things you can do after tenure, that's all you can do. That's sort of the way that we think of these things, because we've been socialized to only take what's being offered. So this idea of creating your own path, or like, oh, maybe in 5 years you'll have a position that doesn't exist right now. That's also really exciting and kind of a way of taking agency over their futures. Like, well, maybe I won't be the provost. Maybe I'll be this new position that they have to give a new name to because it is suited to me, because I'm that important in terms of the way that, the organization works or the university. So we've got women who are very, very high in terms of their output, their productivity, but they need to now be able to take some agency over it.
I love how you say that, Gina, because I'm listening to you both and I can picture faces of some of our previous clients, after like 3 seasons of this, 3 cohorts of, and some a little larger than others of Elevate. You can really see how the variety of clients that we get and the different almost like views and visions that they have of their own lives and careers. And sometimes, like, as you said, Gina, it's exciting and it's also scary to think I can be this thing that it doesn't exist yet. And how do I create that path? And I feel that the program really allows our clients to see a way to tangibly take those steps, make sure that they are going in the direction that they want, even if it's something that doesn't exist yet, they can create themselves. We do have a lot of clients who, like you said, they're like super high up on the ladder and they have really important positions. And then the question is, this is something that I've seen in the program with our clients, it's almost like they're on their way to where they want to be, but they can't really fully be there because they've left themselves along the way in bits and pieces. And so in the program, through all of the spokes and the themes that we cover, it's almost like they're patching themselves back into the shape of who they wanted to be all along. And with that new person, actually take those steps that maybe some of them already knew, maybe some of them are figuring out through the program where they really want to go. But it's more themselves. It's more the person they want to be, not just a professional. And so I feel that this program gives them both the tools to tangibly take those steps professionally. And also, we work on our mindsets in a way that it's a more complete picture once you get to that place.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot recently about some of the mindsets that we come back to over and over in Elevate, some of the things that we think about. And one of them is the scarcity mindset. And I think that when you get to a point in your career where you're really, really good at so many things, everybody wants something from you. And so your time becomes so scarce that it's hard to open up time for anything. And so one of the things that I really like to talk to clients about is slowing down. So you have an article that you have to read, really be present with that article and really get into it and think about it. And the response, almost always, the gut response is, I don't have enough time. And so I think that's one of the big issues, is being able to slow down to a point where you're enjoying what you're doing, but still feeling like you have time, that you're not stealing time from something else. And I know that's an issue, not just with Elevate, with, people in Elevate, but it definitely kind of comes to a head at this point.
Yeah. And I like what you said, Gina, because every time I think of time now, after, going through all of these programs and our clients, I've come to realize that it's also about the energy, right? And so, as you mentioned, there isn't enough time. And it's because sometimes we don't have that energy. Slowing down allows us to get back some of that and be able to actually be present. It's a combination, I think, because of the different clients that we have. Sometimes, some tools and specific strategies work more for others. And what I appreciate about the program is that we don't assume everybody is at a specific place with a specific roadblock or challenge. We give the structure and the tools and everything, but it's also flexible enough to make sure that we can match those needs sometimes as they arise, because like I said, it's almost like a process, in the 6 months that we're together, the clients are learning of themselves. And so through that process, they learn of their needs. And so time as a number may have been an issue at the beginning. And by the middle of the program, they're realizing, okay, now I have been able to trim down the fat. I have some time to do the things. And now it's, the energy component. How do I manage that? How do I use accounting to really figure out where does the energy goes in the bits and pieces of time? So yeah, I think this program has done wonders personally, not just for the clients, also for me, because it's almost like a shift in the mindset that we all go through, season by season and cohort by cohort.
I think, Rocío, the question of energy, pertains directly to writing too, because I think sometimes we think of writing as a more of a challenge of early career, because I mean, by the time you've gotten to mid-career, you've produced, right? But I think that finding the energy for writing and the time/energy for writing, and also moving through some of the blocks that can be created by the fact that you have an output, right? We can then feel that pressure to perform at a certain level or to produce certain things that can actually become a roadblock to writing rather than keeping up the pace and keeping up the momentum. And writing can also just kind of fall off of the priorities for energy for some folks, even those who loved writing at some point and it was like a big part of their mission. All those time demands, all those energy demands that the mid-career life puts on people can make it much more difficult to find that time to put your passion into writing. So I think that's also a place where, coaching really helps with that energy management and with, moving past some of those barriers that we're establishing to really being able to write, and the internal limits that we're putting on ourselves when it comes to continuing to write as part of our career and as part of, alignment and part of fulfilling the purpose and passion that drive us in whatever our field may be.
I love that you're bringing it back around to writing because, I think that in all of the programs, we have clients who come and they have a very specific goal that they want to meet. And, might be, I want to publish this book, or, I need to get this many articles, or I want to start this lab. And I think that sometimes people get a little bit nervous when we say, okay, first rest, take a breath, because they want to kind of charge into that. And it is very hard to recognize right away that you have to stop and you have to take a break and you have to take a breath before you're going to have the energy to go and do those things. And so I feel like sometimes we talk about everything that surrounds writing, like it's a little donut and writing is in the middle, because everything that you're doing is going to end up contributing to whether or not that work gets done and whether or not that work gets done sustainably. Because, I think someone maybe mentioned this at some point, that there are lots of ways to get to tenure. And, if you're breaking your back to get to tenure, is that how you want to go on? That's kind of the other part, is that it may be a good time to think about things being sustainable at this point in the career.
I love that word, Gina. And it's funny, it's not only, is that how you want it to go on? Is that going to be able to go on?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just not going to happen. Our bodies our bodies break. We, as the older that we get, there are more health issues that we have to take into account. And in fact, we have had, like myself, dealing with chronic disorders and things of the sort. And so there are additional considerations for each of us that, in particular our clients, as they try to go about fulfilling their goals and trying to be set up for the future. What are those needs based on those particular parameters? Something that comes to mind as you talk about sustainability is that in the program, it's almost like we have different themes that we cover to make sure that we tackle every aspect that could, fulfill this journey. And the thing is that we do talk a lot about sustainability too, right? Not just from the writing perspective, but from mentoring and what that really means and how do we implement it for our own finances. And what does that mean for us, each of our clients? And I always go back to us because, initially when we created the program and as we refine it over and over, there's a lot of our experience with clients that feeds into in our own paths that feeds into the program. And then we come back to the clients. And so that's one of the things that I appreciate about the Elevate program, that it's still flexible, and yet it still has so much richness from all of the experiences and through the clients that we've had so far. So flexible, but still customized in a way.
We also need to talk about something that you raised, I think it was you, Gina, about being used to going by other people's milestones. So one of the things that we can see is people creating their own adventures, right? Including things completely outside of the box and completely outside of academia. So there's also the benefit of being able to see the path in new ways and also break with some of the institutional things that have been limiting people or people have experienced even as oppressive and that run contrary, that are not aligned with their purpose and their vision. So seeing people also say no is, I think, part of the richness. Decide what they're going to say no to, decide how they're going to define their own milestones, their own success, that sustainable way forward, and redefining all of it, I think, is an incredibly powerful process, not only for the person experiencing it, but for everybody who's part of the circle, right? Who's now, getting to be part of someone's transformative journey. I think that's a really powerful piece of it as well.
I love thinking of it as a transformative journey. I mean, it sounds like a big phrase, but that is what happens to quite a few people, especially, as you said, it's transformative for them, but also for the people around them, because we talk about mentoring, and that's a term I think we could probably dig into quite a bit. But, the idea that when you're at this level, this mid-career and beyond, you are the person that other people are looking up to. And so being able to not work on the weekends, not send out an email on the weekends so that junior faculty see that you're working on the weekends, really simple things like that, in terms of knowing that how you work is going to influence academia as a whole, because it is sort of through a lot of those little practices that we can make these big changes. And so as clients leave Elevate and put out of office messages in their emails when they go on vacation and they actually stick to those things, we are making those little bitty changes in terms of this very work-oriented, very capitalistic way that we've started to view academia as faculty and, just as a society as a whole.
I like that, Gina. We are able with our clients to create that change that we want to see, right? What I like the most is that sometimes you can see some of the clients coming in and thinking, that's what I should do. So all of the shoulds, right? And as we transition through the program and we immerse in that experience, they walk away not just saying I should, but this is what fits what I want to do and what I need to do. And at the same time, like you said, I'm showing the way, I'm leading the way for others who are behind me or next to me. In that way, we create that change in that academic culture that most of the time is not as great as we need it or want it. Some of my favorite parts about working with clients in both that transition and themselves seeing how they come into the program thinking, these are the things that I want to do, need to do. And then through the program, realizing which ones of those are imposed because of the position, or imposed based on sometimes even not even the academic people, but society and their families and the things that they think they need to do. And through the program, and at the end, realizing, okay, of these are the ones that I want to stick to. These are the ones that I need to push forward. Putting together all the things that we cover in the program in a sustainable way so that they can continue on that path. So, that makes me curious. What other things do we see? What are some of our favorite things that we have seen through working with some of these clients? Maybe you can tell us a little bit more.
I would say that one of my favorite parts is kind of connected to everything that we've been saying about clients, in that they are full people with full lives, beyond what it is that their students or the university will ever see. And so it is so interesting to hear about people's backstories and all of the things that they're doing in their worlds, their crazy hobbies that they love to do that sort of enrich their teaching, or, people who are caregivers, sort of connecting with them and the other people that are in their lives. I think that being able to recognize faculty as human beings is just, it's so nice, because we start to notice that we're just sort of machinery in a lot of parts of our job. We go and we teach, and we're sort of we are a cog that's doing our work. And so to be able to be in a space where we're recognized as whole people and as unique, and to be able to connect in that way, I don't know. To me, it's a privilege. And I know how good it feels for clients to be able to get some of that.
I agree, Gina. The invitation to people to bring their full selves and not just have to be compartmentalized and divided or proper, I think is super countercultural in and of itself. So I think there's something super empowering about seeing people, share those aspects of themselves, or their kids barge in on their meeting or whatever, it also, I think, is powerful to see like what brought you to this passion. I think that's one of the things I enjoy is it takes a lot of passion, it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of energy and commitment to get to where you are. So what got you there? How did you get interested in this? Like sometimes even seeing people reconnect with that, what first drew them to the field of or the research that they're doing is just, it's interesting. And I think it's a whole process of like reclaiming that passion for a lot of people as well. Like getting to see that, I think, is an incredible privilege, and it's super energizing, even for me as a coach, but also I think for the clients and the groups in which they're participating.
I love that reconnecting bit. Another one of my favorite parts of working with clients and that I've seen through these cohorts is how they reconnect with that voice they have with not just who they are as scholars, but also as humans and the things that they actually value and they thought they did along the way, but because of the dynamics and how the things that had to do and get done, they lost a little bit of that. And through the program, seeing them, start with, I kind of miss spending time on this activity, on these people, on doing these things. And I've lost it. And then midway through the program, okay, I'm making time for that. I'm creating the space for it because now I see it as an essential component of who I am and my voice through my writing, also the projects that I do and the things that I want to make room for. And then by the end, it's almost like, yes, this was me all along. This was important. And now, this is how it's going to be. And so that transformation, not even maybe a transformation, just that going back to that original center, that original who they really were. To me, it's fascinating. It's inspiring, and kind of like what you say, Thea, it's very inspiring to go to these group meetings, one-on-one coaching sessions, all of these things, all the pieces in the program, and know that you're helping these clients almost like go through the motions, and we're walking away with so much inspiration that nourishes back in the group sessions as well. And I think that's something that I also appreciate about the program is that we have all of these pieces that they just work so well together because we go from the person and the client back to the group, back to the person, back to the group. And all along the way, we're finding new answers. The clients start figuring that out and bringing it back to the group. And that nourishes the whole group, just dynamic and just immensely. It's super, super interesting, inspiring.
And it's fun. I think the idea that professional development should not be fun, like there shouldn't be like an enjoyable aspect of it is, again, like a really traditional way of thinking of things that you have to, go to a conference and be really uncomfortable and, compete with people in some mental, emotional way. But, being able to be with people that you're not competing against, that you really believe in and trust and then enjoying spending time with them, like all of that, it does not fit into the traditional paradigm of how you become a better professor. But I feel like it's something that's been working. We have clients who've gone on to make really amazing decisions about their careers and do things that they never expected that they would be doing.
Yeah. Do we want to talk a little bit about, without giving names, of course, of some of the great things that we've seen our clients do through the program or after the program?
Well, we've definitely heard from a number of people who have gotten that next promotion, right? And have gone up for full and have gotten that. And that's, presumably for a lot of people, that's kind of the next traditional milestone, at least.
Yeah. We've also had people who they may have come to the program thinking, maybe I don't want to stay where I am and I want to really change the course and go to a different kind of work sector. And they've done that successfully. And at least a couple that I remember, they did it through the program itself, which was super good and inspiring to see because that's what the program is about, right? We're elevating our professional selves, and I would say also our personal side. And that doesn't have a specific direction in mind. It's just whatever fits to the person. Another, I guess, success story that comes to mind, at least a couple of people now who have gone to develop their own containers for work and success. One of them is more like a consultant type of person, but really with high-end clients, and using her field specifically to answer the questions she's excited about, but on her own terms, right? Creating that space, creating that professional spot that can be used to financially support a family and at the same time fulfill their milestones. Any other things that come to mind in terms of some of these nuggets that we've seen in success stories?
Well, I think that one of the really big successes is we've had a number of people who've really kind of said, I don't know if I want to stay in academia. I don't know if there are opportunities for me at this level to do the things I love. And we've had from that place, we've had people go in a variety of directions, and people have found opportunities outside of academia that fit them better. And then there are other people who have found opportunities at different institutions, which is, another exciting possibility that I think sometimes we don't consider. Once we're mid-career, we feel like, okay, I have to stay at this place. And, there are those kinds of opportunities to move even at that point. I believe we've also had some people kind of start labs and other cool initiatives within their sciences. I'm not going to say too much more about that because, anytime I talk about science, I'm walking on very thin ice. I don't know that much about it.
Don't worry. But yeah, you're right. We have had people successfully being able to get the funding to be able to sustain that type of new team, new lab. And that has been also very, very good to see because, like we've been talking about it, it's about that professional, help them going in the direction they want to go. And yeah, that's super exciting. Yeah.
I just want to say, the fact that, the cross-disciplinarity of this program is, I think, one of the really super rich things, right? The fact that, you don't have to know anything about science or the humanities or anything, right? Being able to learn from people who are in different fields and yet facing many of similar struggles, similar victories, similar, everything, I think is incredibly rich because so often institutions separate us into silos and we don't get to cross-pollinate, as it were, with people in other fields or other departments, especially when time and energy are scarce. So I think that the fact that you may have a historian and a geologist giving each other feedback is part of what makes this program rich, or a religious studies scholar talking to a physicist. It's amazing. I think it's super fun. I think everybody learns and people throw out their expertise at random times. So you're also learning from each other and just creating more. I think that creates more energy as well. I think that's very invigorating to see the diversity of knowledge and backgrounds that people bring to us. That's super exciting to me.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I've learned so much from clients about, the way that different institutions work and how different areas kind of, what are book areas versus articles versus other case studies, things like that. But it's so interesting to see that variety, but then still have those commonalities in terms of how we see academia, how we see our professions, how we, connect with our work and with other people. It's you're a physicist and I'm I'm a historian, but we have those same connections because we're still kind of coming from the same place.
I like that. I like that a lot. And it's funny, I when I hear you both talk about these things, I go back to the group sessions and how those different perspectives kind of help each other get to the answers and uncover the answers that they had all along. And also I go back to these peer review sessions that we've had where you have all of these different careers and different professions mixed together and nourishing like tangibly. And you can see a writing piece get to the next level and being published and even much better from, the client's feedback, the way from what they had because of all these different perspectives. So I like to see that tangible and intangible combination of nourishment through all of these diverse voices that we have in the program. And I look forward to more cohorts coming up. When is the next one coming up? It's going to be, starts February now every year. So
yeah, in
I'm
February.
excited.
Yeah, so I will have one coming up. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, we'll have some info sessions coming up, I'm sure. And it was really exciting talking about the Elevate program and all of the exciting clients that we meet on a regular basis.
Thank you so much for both. Not much. I look forward to meeting new potential clients and answering questions and seeing how, we're a good fit for each other, the program and the clients, and then helping them go to that next level that they may already know what that is, maybe trying to figure out what that is. And I'm confident that our program can help them with those tangible, specific steps.
Yeah, I would say thank you for listening this far, for taking time to learn a little bit more and about what makes this program great and what we're passionate about, and for taking this time to think about where you might fit. So we look forward to welcoming you into the program and supporting you and getting just as excited about your accomplishments and your journey.
So yeah, thanks everyone for listening. And thanks, Kathy, for having us on.
Thank you, Kathy. See you later.
Thank you so much for spending your valuable time supporting yourself and your writing by listening to this episode. If you like what you heard today, the best way to say thank you is to hop on over to Apple iTunes and write an honest review. The more reviews, the more amazing academic women and non-binary people will find this podcast. So go write one now.